Alright everyone, hello and welcome to today's stream. Today, I'll be doing more lens flare effects. I've been working on those again. They're quite fun, using the color dodge node to its greatest potential. I made a few more projects. Over here, I tried making a realistic eye. I'm not sure if this goes into the uncanny valley. It might not. But I thought it looked kind of cool. Very detailed. Surprisingly detailed. But yeah, all the lights in there are fake. Just a result of using color dodge. And then the black hole, you guys saw this being posted on Twitter today, which I'm very happy how this turned out. It looks so nice, so crisp. That's what I like about these projects. They look crisp. And then I tried making kind of like, I don't know, like a rune or a spell with this. It turned out alright, but I need to work on it. Ooh, and apparently there's a couple issues with the lights. But yeah, needs some work, but cool stuff. And I want to work on it even more. But yeah, it's been a fun couple of projects. Alright, so the question is, what will the next one be? Should I try making it more like a human shape? Or should I make it more celestial or spell? I kind of want to make another spell because I kind of have two of those, but I don't have another spell in the repertoire. So let's go and try making a bit of that. Let's start with the UV map just because. Let's get the vector math length so that we can get the distance from the center of the UV map. Let's scale that up by a bit. There we are. Use a color ramp. So, do I want to start out with a circle? That's the question. Because with all the previous ones, even that one starts off with its circle. Do I want to do that? Do I want a circle, or do I want something better, something more interesting? Maybe I'll try starting off with a square. I have a plan for this one. Let's see if it actually works. So if I remember correctly, I need to use an absolute, and to make a square shape, let's use a separate XYZ node. So we have that, and then we need to use a smooth maximum. There we go. And then if we use, or is it smooth minimum? No, it looks like a smooth maximum does the job. So now we have this. We could change how sharp or how curved this is. But now we need to color dodge it. So, I'm going to try a different way of color dodging instead of having like a main shape right there. It's just color dodge. And let's have a color, but it needs to be very dark for the effect to properly work. Huh. Not looking quite as crisp as I was hoping for. Wonder why. Like, if I raise the base level, that happens, which is alright, but not quite having quite the punch. I think that's because I need the emission at the end. That may be the case. Emission, let's crank that up by a few notches, and then we could bring the base darkness down by... Yeah, that's looking alright. Now the question is... Here, let's put this into a frame. Do that, and then that, bring that over, bring these two over to here. Do I want this to be sharp or curved? I think I'll go with sharp for now. I could always change that later. So let's do that. So that's the first color dodge. So let's add in another. So that's the base layer, just green tinted very dark black, because we want a dark background. But we still want the green to appear later on. So let's have another one of these, but I want to... Let's use a transform. No, not that one. Oh, a mapping node. That's what it's called. Mapping. Too much geometry nodes in my diet recently. Alright, just so that, if we want to, we can, say, move this by 45 degrees. Starting to look like a little bit of a spell already, but kind of want it to be like that, and then I just keep adding ones that, you know, keep getting smaller and smaller. I could make an actual fractal, but I think I'll just do it manually. So let's, yeah, let's just give it a shot. I could just reset that to 0. So 0, 45, 0, 45. How is that looking? So that looks like that. Does that look good, or should I switch to something else? Actually, could maybe look like a diamond if I do that. I don't know. And then I could also make it circular. I don't know. I really like it when you see the parts cross over each other and then you get that additive effect. Do kind of like that. You know, it's still almost like this fractal square, but you still get doubling up happening. Let's switch this to something, well, we need a little more saturation in the mix. There we go. Let's scale up this one. This one might need a lot of layers for all the shapes I'm gonna use. Well, actually, wait a second. Let's try this one, except at, let's see, 22.5. Is that, whoops. 22.5. So it kind of, I don't know, like which... I don't know. Actually, wait a second. I'm doing this all wrong. Or am I? If I use... Is it alpha blend? Yeah, if I just make these transparency layers, I could just use geometry nodes to array them the way I want. Yeah, let's do that. Let's try making this in the simplest way possible before I go all complex, crazy mode. So let's use a transparent. There we go. Then an add shader node. So let's do that. Switch this to alpha blend. There we go. Now with geometry nodes, I'm just going to array this, essentially. So let's use, what should I use? I'll use a curve. Whoops. Curve line. There we go. I'll resample it so that I could say, hey, how many points do I want within this given area? Instance on points. There we go. Have that on the points, that there. Now let's take a look. Ooh, that's looking kind of cool. But I want it to be a little bit different. So I think I can take the... Oh, yeah, let's take the index. And then vector math multiply it so that it'll affect only the z-axis of the rotation. So it'll be like that. Ooh, there we go. Now we're getting some cool kind of sci-fi looking stuff. Kind of liking that. This is, I think this may be my first experiment with making these look kind of 3D. Or, yeah, putting them in 3D space. Because all of these have many layers stacked up, but they're stacked inside the shader to make them work. And I think that helps with, like, the blending, making, like, this really additive part there. Well, this one we can see it's not quite adding up as it should. Alrighty then, and now I think I'll use the spline parameter because this is a spline, which means that no matter how many points I add into it, the gradient will still be the same. So let's use a color ramp. I could try using a map range, but let's just try this one. Ooh, there we go. You guys have seen this effect before. I'm 99% sure of it. There we go. We can have that. We could add in more, and it'll just make the amount of spirals look like there's more. I could actually put the factor into there, bump it up, and then I could effectively change the kind of resolution of it. I kind of like this kind of mist that happens, but I also kind of want to get rid of it. I'm unsure about that. But so far, this part's good. Happy with that. Yeah. And if you guys have any input you would want to give, I am all ears. Because I don't know what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just experimenting. Which experimenting is fun. You get to do a ton of stuff and you don't have to care. Oh, is this going to be super productive? You're just like, huh, maybe that'll work. And that's enough. Follow this channel for more inspirational quotes from Ben. Fortnite texture, let's switch this to 2 dimensions. Try something with Fresnel. Fresnel won't really work in this situation because this stuff isn't real, the geometry is all planes. Like, even this eye over here, it's just a plane. It's a texture. Procedurally generated, mind you. That was quite a feat, getting that to look that good, procedurally. But Fresnel will not work in this situation. Let's color dodge again. I really like the color dodge node. You just get all the, like, shiny, sparkly effects so easily. Is it possible to render this into a flipbook? Oh yeah, definitely. All you need to do is render out an image sequence, and I actually made a flipbook image packer for the MRI scans from yesterday, so that I could assemble those. Let's have the object info so that we can offset this texture based on the instance it's currently on. So let's, whoop, there we go. So now we have a ton of little shiny spots. What happens if I say, ooh, I kind of like the, I don't know, sharp or curved? It's curved, it gives more of a elegant feel instead of the harsh, you know, just, oh, you didn't subdivide, man, kind of feel. And I could, if I wanted to, try using the star-shaped ones. But I'm not sure. Do I want that? Like, this looks volumetric, even though it is just planes stacked on top of each other. That looks fairly cool. Like, look at that. Wow. Oh, if I could make these, like, cycle through, so that will be an infinitely repeating animation, that might look very awesome. And I would be able to do that. I would just need to edit the, the nodes that I made before. But would 100% be possible? I kind of like that. It almost looks like, feels like snow. Imagine a low camera angle like this, except zoomed in, and then you just see the stars floating by in the sky. I could possibly animate these. 3D, let's use a vector math node. When you switch it to 3D, they kind of like to disappear a little bit, so you gotta bring them back, because some of them are in the 3rd dimension. Tag frame, let's do this by 1000. There you go, you can see the sparkles happening. Do we need more sparkles being visible? I like that. I like it. Do want to turn down the base value of that by like a little bit more. What colors should this have? What if I plugged... Actually, okay, let's fix the color here. I want to have just a base value and then a color that I can assign without having to worry about that part. So that's the base value, the base brightness, and then I color it. Then that happens. Which, as you can see, has its perks and downfalls. I just want to test if... Plug that into there and not do that. Come on, buddy, you can do it. I did that the exact opposite way. So I can have one solid color and then multicolored stars. Might be a cool idea. Very cool, but can I make it in Material Maker? If Material Maker has color dodge, then absolutely. Which it probably would. Any art program should be able to have color dodge in it. Oh, nice confetti. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this, because it's not quite what I'm looking for. But it's intriguing. which is cool. If I ever wanted. Ooh, that's a look in itself. Can you guys hear the music? I'm not sure. It's a little low, but it's louder for me than you guys. I want some general ambience without it being overpowering. Look at that. Wait a second, wouldn't it look even better if I just... Oh, wow. It kind of does look better even without the stuff that I did. Oh, wait. I like that. Ooh. Wait, so I don't even need that. I might just need... like little lines appearing from the center. Alright, a nice side tangent, but a nice volume right there. Nice starry night. You could go and look around. Well, it looks like we're going back to circles, folks. I want to try some stuff. Actually, let's put this into a frame. But I want to... Whoops. I want to edit it just a wee bit. So let's copy this over. I need to do a couple of things. So I need to get I need to make a radial UV map, which fortunately for us isn't too difficult. There should be a node for it in default Blender, if I'm being honest. But you have both of these, and then you get the UV for the radial part, and then the length. You combine X, Y, Z as you do. And we could plug that into there, then we get a kind of randomized UV map. Now let's put in a noise texture. I'm getting better at typing. That was fast. There we are. Let's select both those and those. Set that to 1. So now that we have this, let's put a color ramp at the end for this radial UV map. Let's take a look what it looks like in the end result. Okay, needs some work. I want it to be like that, but fewer and farther in between. Because right now it's way too common. Here, let's put that like that. Oof, that's too bright. So sort of like... I'm kind of getting what I want. Here, let's bring it up. And then I can have this just rotate in space and time. Then it might look good. But here, the layers are becoming a little too apparent. Or are they? I'm not sure. Set this to like 0.5 for the distortion. Alrighty. Here we are. That's looking kind of good. I'm liking that. I'm getting away from the feeling of, oh, this has to be like solid geometry. That's what I've been wanting to get away from. The feeling that the geometry, you know, triangles and all that stuff. I want to get back to making procedural art. You know, the actual art part of it. Okay, there we go. Just bump up the saturation until it's almost too much. I'm thinking maybe putting another Voronoi in there. That might look good. Let's give that a shot. But since it is radial, it should give a better result. Oh wow, yeah, that's a little bit too much in my opinion. Though it is cool. It works in most viewing angles. Wait, is that the wrong one? I feel like I'm doing the wrong, So there's that, which is... Oh great, I made a celestial body. What are they called? The planetary path thingies. I do not know, but this is very cool. So I should have these rotating on their own in different orientations, and that might look good. So kind of like that, except let's turn, whoa, that's a little bit too much. Kind of like that. Then maybe I could, this is being ambitious, but maybe I could like place little kind of planetoids in. Let me try that. I'll need something different than what I currently have, which will be cheaper, not as many nodes. But let's give it a shot. Experimentation leads to innovation. So let's get the length. Length. Actually, let's try distance, and then a color ramp. Then I'll use the random value to, like, say the radius of it. So I'll use a math and a map range to essentially say, hey, be further away or closer to the outputs. Ah, my eyes are gone. So there we go. We can see that that's working now. Uh-oh. It's not repeating. Why does it appear to be repeating? That should not be happening. Oh, no, it's not repeating. Okay, okay. So I should also probably affect the brightness depending on a value, which is doable. Just need to use a white noise texture, and then a multiply after the fact. I may need to map range this as well, not that map multiply. Are you guys enjoying this? Because I think this may be, you know, some of the most practical projects I've been working on, where it's like, oh wait, I can try doing that. Even though these get complex, it's just because of the amount of layers at play. So that kind of works, but I want it more towards the middle. So can I... That kind of oscillates that part. Which means... Oh wait, I could separate X, Y, Z for this white noise, and then plug this one into up here, and this one into down here. Digging it? Ah, that's quite good. Happy to hear that. So here are random values for there, and I might use that for the rotation offset as well. I'm kind of happy with that, even though some parts are still a bit too brighter than they should be. Like with this one, it shouldn't be that dark, they should be faint. Kind of like that. So you could still see, oh, there's kind of something there. More of the mist effect. But now if I offset it, they're all offset in mostly the same way. Okay. Here's where things will differ with this one and the secondary layer. So I'll have another color dodge. Starting to get a little complex, but that's just because of the amount of layers. Don't get too scared just yet. So let's bring this down. I want to connect the same UV map because I'm going to be rotating that. Let's put that there, move this down to here. So we can have another one. Let's put this into a frame before things go sour. Even though we're getting very close to it getting too complex. Don't forget, folks, you could just make an image and then have it do all this. I'm just unhealthily obsessed with... Oh, there we go. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, I like that look. Okay, maybe for a different project. So here's that one. So we have all those... Oh, I really like how they interact with the circles. I love that. Okay. So with this, since we have our two random values here, I'll use the third to rotate the vector. Let's use a vector rotate. Set this to z-axis because that's all UV maps can use. Let's use a multiply for the noise. There we go. Then I can have them like rotate over time a little bit. I think we might need another. Yeah, maybe a radial noise texture just to break it up a little bit. But I need to also add in some variable. Here we go, another one of these. I'm getting a little out of breath from talking. I've been doing a lot today. Plug that into there, plug that into there, and plug this into here. Again, it's getting complex. I apologize for that. But in this case, you know it. The ends justify this amount of complexity. And then, oh, I did something a wee bit wrong. Oh, that looks, oh, I like that look. I'm going to be saying that a lot. Apologies, everyone. So what if we had... Not the biggest fan of that look. So I like that look. Let's set that to ease. Nope, don't like that. I think, yeah, that's good. Even though, wait, they're missing the, oh wait, the rings are scaled. Dang it. How do I make these go on the rings that they're supposed to be? Let me think. Oh wait, I could just try adding this into there. Or no, wait. Oh wait, I could try using a combine XYZ and then plug that value into there. Please work. So kind of works. I think it just needs a little push from an add node. This is getting complex. Again, I apologize. Are all of these interacting as they should? No, they are not. Rats. That is unfortunate. Okay, I'm going to try redoing this, except in a better way, because this is getting out of hand. So let's go and just undo a lot of the work that we did. But you might be like, oh no, but hey, experimentation, it'll be fine. So I think we could keep this section. There we go. Oh, that's so much easier on the eyes. But I'm going to scale or multiply. Scale and multiply do the same thing. Just one uses one value, the other one uses 3, but they can do the same. So that I can scale them, which will also scale the other ring. So that I do not have to worry about it. So just like that. Plug that into there. Except we offset it to that side. 0.5. 0.5, just to make sure that the rings are evenly spaced. Okay. Okay, see that? Now we can reattach the multiply to there, and then I'll use a map range for the scale, and we'll be back in business. See, all of them have to connect without anything going wrong. And a map range for that one. So let's make some of them smaller and some of them larger. But we need to make it so that they don't hit the bounds of the object. There we go. Now I do want some of these to be smaller or larger as well, so I'll add in another for here. And have it be connected to another white noise. So it'll be within 1 or 2, more like that. Why is it... Oh, wait a second. Okay. I'll just use the add node like I had before, because this is offset. when I scale it, it scales it down from the center, even though it's supposed to be offsetting it or whatever. Sorry about that. I'm a little tired, folks, as is the usual on these streams. But hopefully this content is still somewhat educational. Let's do that so that I can... There we go. Nice. There we go. That's pretty close to what I had envisioned. There we go. So let's also add in for another color dodge here. Let's remove this one. Since that's the last in the stack, let's put it over to there. These two, it's a little big, a little intimidating, but hopefully somewhat understandable. Let's just bring this up here, put it into a frame so that people can see, oh, okay, that is happening. Yeah, that's kind of understandable. Not the worst, especially if I, whoops. Is that using, that's using different noises. Let's make them use the same noise so that I do not. So I could just put them all in one reroute. There we go. There we go. Now people can see what's going on without their brain confusing itself. There we go. So let's put in, I want to add in that, let's see, let's copy this part again. I need that radial texture. Or wait, no. Just a regular UV map. I'll manipulate it later on. Please, can you make that by Material Maker? No, I do not know that program, and I don't want to pick it up just for that. If I were to pick up the program, then I probably would, but at the moment, I have no plans on picking up that program. Let's plug that into there, so that maybe... Oh my goodness, what have I done? Well, it's something! What kind of spells are you casting? I do not know. All I know is that it is something mysterious and intriguing. Object info, let's multiply. That's looking, not great. Let's set this to ease so that it's not quite as harsh if it does go haywire. That's not looking good. Simpler, I think this effect may be pretty much done. So there we go. Let's keep it like that. And then, oh wait, I need to animate it. So just by doing that, it can be animated. Even though maybe in hindsight, the planetary rings probably should have been a Geonodes object. So that it would be separated, but this isn't bad. It's not bad. Yeah. Alright. How would you animate the value to seamlessly loop? Okay, so looping is a big pain with procedural materials because procedural materials are not meant to repeat. Like if I just had these rotate like this, oh, I can make that loop, but it looks boring. If I had this part loop, well, that would be difficult because they all go at different speeds. If I had the... Whoops. If I had the stars loop, well, that would be extremely difficult because it's a procedural texture. How do you make a procedural texture repeat? So what most people do is that they just fade the video back into itself over time so that it's less noticeable. I've done it before. My busy screw-ups, that would have been bad. My starting screen right here, that video, it looks like it loops, but in reality, it does not. The video is fading into itself. So, yeah. That's why I would recommend, instead of making it extremely difficult on yourself. You can also reverse the clip that makes a seamless loop. That, reversing the clip to make a seamless loop, I'm not a big fan of that. Ah, there we go. Because, what was I going to say? How's that looking? I'm not a big fan of that because it's technically not a loop. It's just you stop and then rewind. That, I wouldn't, technically it's a loop, but it's not a pretty loop, in my opinion. So let's crank up the saturation. Ooh, I'm liking that. If your stuff isn't looking right, then crank up the saturation. I think the value is too high, especially for colors like that. So let's lower that. This is something a little bit less. That's looking interesting. I like that. But I think the blue does look better. Like, look at that. You look into the night sky and then you see that and you're like, oh boy, the end of the world. I do want to make this a little more intricate though. And I think I can do that by making these rings stepped. So doing that probably won't be too difficult. I just need to use that gradient texture. Gradient texture. That is the wrong one. Gradient texture, there we go. Radial. And then I'll multiply this layer, because these are just layers. See, we have that image for that, that for that part, and the stars for that. And then with color dodge, it makes it look all fancy and cool. So you can see, oh, what went wrong? Just too saturated. Yeah, it just went a little too saturated, which caused the line to be a little too harsh. So I'm going to use a multiply and then a fraction to make a stepped fraction. There we go. To make this kind of look. And depending on how it goes, it may make this texture look very cool. It's hit or miss, though. I do not know. So let's take a look at that. And now let's look at the output. Okay. Not great. Needs work. I think the work just needs to be a color ramp. Maybe. Maybe. Kind of looks like there's a shadow being cast, but the shadow is incorrect. So maybe that was not a good idea. Perhaps not. Ooh, that kind of looks okay. Three. This will make 3 rings for each of those. I'm not completely against that. I want to try other things. Like, let's use a noise texture, one-dimensional. Again, let's see how that looks. Ooh, wait a second. Ah. I was like, ooh, that looks good. Turns out it was just the previous effect. So here, let's turn up the detail. I kind of like that. But it needs a little bit more. Nope. Oh, wait, I kind of like that look. It's very hit or miss. Like, how broken up do you want this kind of ring to be? Bros casually making a Doctor Strange scene. Yeah, that reminds me of another effect that I want to do. Kind of broken glass, but glowy and kind of fractally, and it'll look amazing. But that will be a little bit difficult to pull off. Time. Thank you for mentioning Doctor Strange. That's what this is missing. Something to do with time. So let's make it, you know, a little bit of time stuff. I think I will try to keep that. Okay, we're entering very complex territory, as if we weren't already, by judging by the size of this. Yeah, it's gotten a little too big. So all that is just for the ring layer. And don't forget, folks, if you don't want it to be this complex, you could just draw this and have it as an image file. But I am allergic to image textures, apparently, so I'm trying to do it all procedurally, which is a mistake. I just want it to be clear. It is a mistake. Alright, vector rotate, yeah, okay. Vector rotate, and then the gradient texture as well. Whoops, there we go again. No matter what I do, it's just like, hey, you want to make it 10 times more complex for no apparent reason? And I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. So we plug that into there, we may see... Ah, yeah, no, this might not work well. Kind of looks like stairs, in a way. Kind of does look like stairs. Wow. Color ramp to make it better. Ah, there we go. But yeah, it does look like stairs. I'm looking for time, not stairs. Let's get the length so that I can limit the radius of this. Using a regular math multiply node. And then color ramp, nah, let's just use a greater than node. Just to make it a lot simpler on my brain. Huh. That's oh, I kind of like that. Having the stairs outside of the kind of loop. Kind of like an observatory in a way. Kind of really like that. So if you were looking at it from... The angles don't really work all too well, but let's make this less than. So that can be like that. Then I could randomly rotate using the object info. And then let's multiply by a random amount. That does not give the impression of time. Or clocks or anything like that. It just gives an impression of, oh, chaos. Let's make the random rotation 0. What does that look like? Yeah, nothing too great. Not the biggest fan. Alright, yeah, let's... Oh wait, let's turn that back down. What else would make this better? What about just a general noise texture? No fancy stuff required. Okay, maybe just a little bit of fancy stuff required. Just that. Then I'll add to the 3D texture. Put this into a color ramp. Then we'll plug this into there. Let's see what happens. Just for a little bit of noise. A little bit of... Just a little bit of turbulence. Ooh, dear. Okay, I'm kind of liking that. It's kind of finicky, so... Makes it feel more volumetric. But I'm not sure if that's what I want. That feels just a little bit too busy. Huh. What else? Could try making it noisier. Does that help or hurt? Oh, that got a lot more complex very quickly. Is that good or bad? Oh, that went extremely complex. I'm not sure if I like that. I don't believe I do. It's kind of cool though. Just not what I'm looking for. Yeah, not what I'm looking for. Another thing I kind of want to try is making those circles hexagons. So let me try with that. So, okay, several things here. Let's bump this up so that's more varied. I'm liking the more detailed look of that. Just want some of those to be darker. So it can be just a little bit fragmented. Let's bring this up. That's alright. I like that. But let's try making hexagons for that part. I'm going to switch this to length just so that shows, hey, it's just in the center. Now for this, it'll be interesting. I need to add 0.5. Then, okay. I need to remember how this is done because this may go bad. Gradient. Hexagons are the bestagons. I wholeheartedly agree. Even though they are a pain in the butt to make in 3D software. Or in Blender. In Blender, let me specify. Because we don't have presets for them. Especially in the shader editor. So I need to see if I have this correct. Have this be radial. Please work. Please work. So there, and there. Then I need the length. So I need to add that spiky value to there. Let's multiply. Add. Bling bling. Okay, that may give us a hexagon. But I foresee many problems with it. Case in point. Yeah, I accidentally made a flower petal again. Making a regular hexagon is not the easiest thing. Hey, it's pretty. That's something, isn't it? I made it pretty. That's... Oh, wait. Is this a... Oh, it's a pentagon. I want a hexagon. That's a look. I kind of like that. Oh, that makes it look like... I like that bubble look. Ooh, that makes it look sci-fi. Where you have the harsh cutoff on one side, and then it kind of fades on the inside. Yeah, no, I just made a sci-fi UI. Well, that's something I need to do, folks, so, I'm actually gonna pull these nodes and put it for another... Yeah, let's make another plane. Sorry, folks, side tangents, but hey, they're cool, so... Let's do that and that. Yeah, let's just keep it like that. Put the nodes into a frame. so that they won't give me an aneurysm. Control C. Control V. Where are you? There you are. Let's take a look at you. Where are you? Oh, and I need the UV map. Bro is casually creating his own universe inside Blender. Yeah, that's why I got into Blender. I wanted to create kind of, I guess you could say universes, but worlds inside 3D space. Because it seems very, very cool. Oh wait, I need to power this. I think. Power. I might make the fall off right. And again, folks, you could just use a PNG of a hexagon, but I am stubborn with not wanting to use... Ooh, that's interesting. With not wanting to use image textures in my files. I don't know why. I think I just like having clean files that aren't dependent on anything else. Oh, there we go. There's a hexagon. That's better. It won't work with other like not orientations, like sizes here. As we can see, the star point on the inside doesn't really work, and then out there it doesn't go quite right. I forgot how to properly do that, but I'm sure Arendelle has a tutorial about that. Okay, let's plug in, well, first get the color again, change this to color dodge, so that we can see. Ah, there we go. Bit better. Wait a second, I have a hexagon node set up. But that's somewhere in my files. I don't feel like getting it again at the moment. So there's that, which has that, and I could set that to linear or ease, either or. Let's use an emission node so that we can see this even more. Rank it. Actually, wait a second. So now I'll just use a Voronoi. 3D, and then a color ramp, and another color dodge. Something might go wrong. Yes, yep, that's what I predicted in my brain. It's extending to the outer parts. Because there is just a base value over here that's just like a very low value, whatever you put on there will show up. So I may have to limit that based on the stuff. Yeah, we can see that kind of works, even though it's... Yeah, let's use an add. Whoop. Do we need an add? I don't know. But that kind of works. We can kind of see the sci-fi. Yeah, why doesn't the sci-fi paneling look the same there as to there? Here, let's, Interesting. And why does it look so different there to there? Maybe I just have it a little bit wrong. Like, that's looking closer. Oh well, I'll figure that out later. Maybe a different color? Oh, there we go. That's a bit more like it. I think it's mostly the shape and then the little dots at the corners. Actually, yeah, wait a second. Since I have those, I could color dodge that. That might... Huh. Let's use a color ramp, put that in there. Ah, well that's a little different than what I was expecting. I wanted it to only show up on there, but I guess I would have to like put spheres there for it to work right. Well, that's kind of cool. I'm not sure if I'm gonna... Huh. It's interesting, but I don't think I'll keep that because I think I already messed it up. Let's go back to this. So I think I would need the power node to make those like actually hexagons. But that doesn't look bad. It looks sci-fi, which I'm not sure if I want sci-fi in this situation. What about animating that texture inside... Oh, message got deleted. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, what if these were clocks? Maybe that would be good. What about animating that texture inside of a hexagon you just created with a time node? Maybe. Like, that would add sparkles to it. But, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm happy with this. I'm pretty happy with this texture. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. I like the depth to it, so I need to show that off like, ooh, camera spins. Or maybe everything else spinning does that. It's not as complex as, say, this one, which, yes, that one is animated. I can't tell if that looks really creepy or really cool, but, yeah. Doing more abstract ones feels better, because you can't hit the uncanny valley with something that's abstract. Ooh, cubes. Oh, you want to see the notes for that one? Don't worry, folks. It's complex. I spent way too much time on it. Most of them are just getting the iris to look right. Like, that's the iris right there. And then all this is just for the eyelid. Like, you see that? That's for the eyelashes. And then you basically composite it all together. So it looks like that for the mask. Which you could just make a texture of this, let me remind you. But I decided to make it manually, which was a big mistake. I did it then, so that means it was all worth it. Haha. You could tell by that nervous laughter that I do not regret any of those decisions. But yeah. I just tried pushing to see how far that would go. By too much time, that probably took like 2 hours. Oh, wait a second. That might look really, really cool. There we go. A little more motion. Let's set this to do. Oh yeah, that's looking cool. I like that. Some of these are not moving enough. And why is that? Why are they not moving enough? I think that's because, yeah, I know why. My eyes are getting a little bit tired at the moment. So I've been streaming for 1 hour exactly. So I'll need to wrap it up. This is a good effect for, you know, an hour of doing like little side projects. Let's go and move these two into another collection. Change this camera from orthographic to perspective. Control B. Collapse that one down. Let's bring the camera over. View. Oh, I really want to use depth of field, but it won't work with alpha blend. We've tried that many times before. But it doesn't want to work. What does that look? One hour to make all those planets. This project I developed on stream. This live stream. It's a bit too complicated than it should be. Like, actually, I could just delete that part. So it's moderately complicated. I could have made it simpler. But I wanted to make, you know, the stuff follow logic and all that, you know, all that pesky stuff. Yeah, I did want to make it more, one of them more like a spell. Maybe I could try that by mirroring the UV map. Using an absolute node. This might work, but it might not. I mirrored it, so that's something. But does it look good? That's another question. Let's swap it out with the hexagons, or the pseudo-hexagons. Could make them octagons as well. That might... Excuse me? Where are you? Were those just in the quantum realm? Oh. Let's change those to... Yeah, they don't look like spell things. Oh, whoa. Scratch that, folks. I'm making my own, universe. 1 second. Oh, wait. Are all these the same radius? They are. Okay. So that might... Ooh, wait a second. Ooh, I kind of like that. Here, let's use that part to just add to this gradient. It'll make it inaccurate with the shape as they get bigger, but hey, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Bubble. I like the bubble look. There we go. That's an interesting look. Again, maybe not what I'm looking for precisely. I think I need to use that power node again. That just helps the curvature either become more extreme or in this case to kind of cancel it out a little bit. There we go, if I do stuff like that. Now that is just a regular old hexagon, or octagon, sorry. Pentagon, decagon? I forget what the one for 10 is. There's that. Ooh, that might actually look kind of neat. Let's control Z until we get to there, and I need to take out that absolute node. Absolute kind of... Oh. Whoa. Oh, that was a bug. Now that I go back to the non-super noisy version, it just looks kind of basic. I'm okay with that. Flower petals, lovely. Sharp. Unfriendly. Alright, anything else? Maybe I should just stick with spheres. Simple, nice, organic. Actually, I could try, if I want to make these, like, look really, really possibly interesting, I could try using a minimum node. So this'll, like, make a... There we go, like a floor in this case. Yeah, that's maybe not the best idea. So with this, I'll set like a limiter to it. Huh. Let's set this to a maximum. So that'll do the opposite. Ah. Well, if I absolute it and then do that. So that mirrors and then... Interesting. Is it what I want? Not in slightest. Well, that kind of looks like a spell. Kind of. Well, yeah, what if I just had a line connecting these? That might actually work. Possibly. I'll have to give it a go. So let's just take out those parts. And I do... Yeah, I have a scale. Yeah, that should work. Okay. So I'll use a separate XYZ. Let's absolute it. Let's take a look. Actually, let's absolute the vectors because both of those would need to be absoluted after the fact. Let's take a look. So we have the stick. It's a good stick. Let's go and invert that so that's like that, and then let's use a greater than. I may have to switch those around if it's not correct. So that if I multiply these two gradients together, we get that. We get a stick. And then now you might be asking, what do we do with this stick? Well, we color dodge the stick. So that we have that happening, then that happen. Ooh, I like that. Oh, but I might need... Yeah, okay, so I need to kind of switch these around so that's on the right axis. There we go. And then lessen it by a bit. That. There we go. It's kind of just touching the sphere. But we can see just a little problem. Okay. It's too bright. So let's just lessen it by quite a bit. So that's just kind of there. Actually, no. Instead of that, let's use a color ramp to decide, oh, it'll get brighter as it gets closer. Oh, wait. Yeah, wrong one. So there we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, I kind of like that look, even though it's noisy. Where does that show up? Wait. Okay, so I need to just lessen that. Because I want it to kind of touch there and then just go back down. Let's tone this back up. Do the same on this side. Because I like those lines, but I think this is too noisy. I think it's too much. But what if I turned off the noise for that part? Does that help solidify it all? Oh, that's the problem. The effect is happening on both sides. Okay. Let's just do that, and then just... Don't panic! And then absolute only this one. There we go. Okay. Less noisy, because it only affects the side that the circle is on now. There we go. But now it doesn't look like the circles are moving, because I took out that part. So let's put that part back in. And maybe just, you know, make it so that... I'll just make it a bit more faint. Like that. So that you can still see, oh, the stuff is moving. But you still get that really cool... I don't know what that's called. Let's try different hues again. Yeah, nothing's really doing better than blue. Purples look okay, but there's something about the blue. Let's plug this into here and just see what happens. Because this will make the circles a different color than everything else. So let's put these to kind of the blue hue. And these will be more of a reddish hue saturation value. Ah, so it looks like I would have to color dodge the colors of that individually. Because it's not quite doing it as well from that. Can I do that? Let's try that. So color dodging, okay, so it kind of... Well, that works, but I would have to color each layer by itself. Which I think it's just kind of simpler if I just keep it all one color. I do like that look, though. Uh-oh. I think that looks good. Just the right amount of complexity. Just a little bit of detail so it's not just like, oh, you just made spheres. But yeah, this is not... It's complex, but it's not the most complex thing you've ever seen. So, it's not the worst. Not the best, but not the worst. Just organize that as much as we can. Now, there is the issue of a little bit of noise appearing, but enough samples will just cure that. Okay, so... Not the worst node setup, but definitely it's a little complex. Just because of the amount of stuff that we packed into it. And with that, I should stop streaming. I really want to use depth of field, but depth of field just doesn't really work with alpha blend because it won't blur unless I use the jitter, which doesn't look good, as we can see here. It's so unfortunate. Like if I wanted to use alpha hashed, which doesn't work with alpha add the add shader. Alright, let's use a mix. Does this work? It kinda does. But not well. Too much noise. So I need to use alpha blend. I'm actually quite confused as to why alpha hashed doesn't like the additive mode, because cycles, if we go to there, it works just fine. Even though I need to up the transparency, light path layers. There we go. That works just fine, and that's in, you know, using noise and all that. And when we go back to Eevee, well, the bloom is on, but it's not doing much. Alright, let's just do a little bit of changing to it. So that makes it look, oh, it's 2D, and then boom. Yeah, it's a nice little project. Nothing too complex, nothing too strange. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I need to find out, like, what other shapes... I need to save this. What other shapes I can play around with. Because as we can see, when I go really complex, it looks rather good. And even when it's simple, it looks rather good. But yeah, this was a nice little... You know, what's possible if I go a little galactic? There we go. I need to think of different ideas that would look good with the color dodge method. Because it's kind of hard to top it. Is this live or pre-recorded? As you can see, this is live. I don't want... I don't put in the effort to pre-record my streams. Because what would be the point of pre-recording something that you want to be spontaneous? Why did I put bevel in there? But yeah, I want to make one that's like water. This one kind of is. Like the warping in the middle. Want one like that, but we'll see. Okay. Oh, this is using the object coordinates. That does lead to some cool stuff with the Voronoi, but yeah. Yeah, I need to rework the spell, because I like that symbol in the middle, but even the hexagon... and those aren't right. They're kind of busted. Yeah, alright. I'm getting tired, folks, so I'll have to leave that there for today. I just need to find a good camera angle to showcase this with. I think... Sorry, I keep saying, oh, I'm gonna go, but then I'm like, well, I need to do a little more to make it right. So let's just move this empty up, parent the camera to that, Control P, object. Have the animation from there, and then the end one, like that. Set this to linear, so that when we look at it, like, whoa, that's so cool. But I need to cut it off before it goes too far. Because there is just a little bit too far. So let's do that. Yeah, and it needs to be slower. Will I be able to rewatch this later? Most likely. Most likely. Maybe, like, instead of 2, let's have this be S1.5. There we go. Yep. Alright, everyone. 35 viewers here. Hello, everyone. Sorry for those of you who just joined. The stream will be ending soon. And, but this will be able to be seen as soon as I go offline. It'll be in the live section of this channel's videos. And yes, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.